What is going on, everybody? This is Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman, and you're checking into Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast where we help you tap into your full potential. How are you doing? What is going on? Man, this weather has gotten crazy here. For my people in the Midwest, even though I know, some of my people on the East Coast, they're dealing with it too. I had one of my friends down south talk about, oh, it's cold and it's like 50 or something. I'm like, man, here in Chicago, 50, I'm pulling out the grill, I'm pulling out the shorts, like croc season with that. You know what I'm saying? But, it is what it is. Born and raised in Chicago, you get used to it. It starts snowing, and like, all right, well, you know, another day closer to get back to the summer. So it's all good. Man, I hope everybody's had a great week. That this past weekend, championship Saturday, for college football. A lot of the colleges, was playing for the conferences championship, and then they had the selection show for the college football playoffs, which was a controversy in itself. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not even going to get on that on the pod. And then of course my beloved Chicago Bears lost to the Packers rivalry game, and here's what I'll say: that loss was not the usual Chicago Bears losing the game loss. That was not that. Like, it felt different. That last play, Caleb interception. If he would have just saw the field a little bit more, he had DJ Moore right there past the first down marker. Actually, could have got a touchdown, but at the end of the day, that's a totally different Bears team. That's not the usual Bears team. So I'm excited. The Packers got to come to Chicago in 2 weeks, and we're gonna see what's up with them. We're gonna see what's going on. But yeah, hope everybody had a good time. We're gonna get into it. This is another short, sweet episode. And just thinking about, we always talk about the gym, and we've been talking about planning for next year. And one thing that came to mind is we tell ourselves this lie all the time that we're just going to start next year. And we have to stop doing it to ourselves where people are like, okay, fine. We're just going to delay our goal. Essentially, you're saying you're going to delay your goals into January. And, it's one of those things of like when somebody's thinking to start something, let's just say it's Wednesday today, it's Wednesday, right? And people are like, okay, I'm going to start next Monday. And who told us that we have to start at the beginning of the month, the beginning of the week, the beginning of the year? Why don't we just say, okay, this is the change I'm going to make. Let's go. I'm starting today. So it's like that psychological comfort for us where, procrastination disguised as a plan. So it's that comfort of procrastination. It's disguised as a plan. Like, hey, I'm going to start fresh this day. And we're putting it in our mind like this, yes, Monday, that's my day. Something come up, we miss Monday. Instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna start tomorrow, Tuesday, we be like, I'm gonna start next Monday. And it's like, who told us that that's what we needed to do? Like, I think I never understood that. And that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about, because you're starting to see that in business a lot, or you see that with people for the gym where January, I'm getting to it, new year, new me. And when we really sit back and think about it, winners don't wait. They just go straight to it. They just get active, right? High achievers, people that are looking to accomplish the things they want to accomplish and they're doing it on a high level, they start right now, even when the conditions are not good. I just told you, like, we having a snow blizzard right now. There's somebody that say, hey, I'm not going to wait till January 1st to hit the gym. I am going to go to the gym right now. Years of blizzard, all that, I'm still going to show up. And what happens is people that just decide to show up right then and there, they build that momentum while everybody else is slowing down. Everybody else is sitting on the sideline, and they're like, okay, I'm going to wait till January 1st to do what I got to do. And as we know, if we talk about business and we talk about the real estate market, when People that's not sitting on the sideline saying, I'm going to wait to January, those are the people that's creating market share. Those are the people that's creating that business. So when January come, they're rocking and rolling, they're getting on top of things, right? And we talk a lot about reframing the way we think of things. Look at the way you look, change the way you look at things, things you look at, change all of those quotes, things like that. And we change the way we think to think of like, okay, our future success depends on the choice we make right now. Again, we're going to highlight this in real estate terms for my realtors out there, where for you, it's taking 30, 45, probably 60 days for transaction close. So what you're doing right now will determine what your 45, 60 days from now is going to look like. So again, we want to build that momentum. We want to look at it now. I'm not saying that you just go out there and just go crazy. No, I'll give you some tactics of some things you could do. And yet, just sitting on the sideline, wasting opportunity, which is going to affect us in 30, 45, 60 days, right? A lot of people fall into that holiday slowdown trap. Again, some of my listeners, you all probably don't deal with that, but then there's a big majority of you all who deal with that holiday slowdown where it's like, peace, I'm checking out mentally. 2 months, right after October, I've shut down, and January I'm gonna get back to it, which means you've already lost part of your year. Because again, it takes 35, 45, 60, sometimes more days for transactions to close. You're waiting now. Then January come, you might get some type of business, something might pop up, February come, but now you're looking at March or April before you reap the benefits, the fruits of your labors. Okay, there's a big difference between rest and disengagement. Everybody needs rest. Everybody needs to take their time to reevaluate things, get their feet in under them, get centered. Yet, totally disengaging is going to make somebody who is still showing up be able to create opportunities that could have been your opportunities. Now, we have to think about how to stay intentional without burning yourself out. We've talked about that plenty of times where there's ways to just make sure you're not getting burnt out, but that comes to sticking to your schedule. That comes to sticking to your time block. That comes to sticking to doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Remember, we talked about the six personal perspectives going from E to P, entrepreneur to purposeful. That's what you're doing. You're being purposeful about what you're doing, being intentional about the results you want and the activities you need to do to get there. Okay. Identity before action, right? Your results do not come from your goals, right? Your results doesn't come from your goals. It comes from your identity. A different way to look at it, I always talk about your standards. Your results come from your standards. If your standards aren't in line with your goals, if your standards are not in alignment with the activities you're supposed to do, you're not going to hit your goals. The person you are today determines the success you're going to have tomorrow. So, again, how you are showing up these last few weeks of December is going to determine who you are coming into January, right? Showing up now as the person we want to be in 2026. You see that a lot. You see on social media, right? When people say, I'm cutting people off at the beginning of the year. So what about between this time now and the beginning of the year? You still going to talk to them? You still going to be cool with them and have conversations with them, but come January 1st, you're going to cut off communication. Like that doesn't make sense. Like show up as you want, as the person you want to be now. Okay, you're eliminating these things from your life in 2026. Start eliminating them now because now you're going to get in that habit, that consistency of you've already cut these things out, right? Don't wait for the calendar to validate your potential. Don't wait for January. This is the person I'm going to be. No, be that person right now. Okay, be that person right now that you are dictating what that year is going to look like. All right. And I'm always talking about giving you all tactics, give you all action items, give you all things where you can walk away with to not just talk about stuff, but do it. So there's three areas in life that we always talk about, right? Fitness, business, and mindset. Fitness, business, and mindset. So let's talk about fitness. For fitness, small, consistent reps, right? Don't wait for January to get your momentum. Like start now, even if that looks like you getting up and going to the gym for only 15, 20 minutes. Some people will look at it like, oh, that's a waste of time. No, getting your body in motion, getting your body active, getting you in that habit. Remember, we're creating these habits, we're creating that consistency. So, small, constant reps. All right, I'm gonna go to the gym for about 15, 20 minutes. Or, hey, I'm gonna go on YouTube and I am gonna do some workouts from YouTube. So now you cut the travel down time. So for people to say, hey, well, I don't have time, well, go on YouTube, do a full body workout. Now you cut the travel time down from going to the gym and coming back from the gym to where now it's like you're able to do something. But you want to just small, constant reps just to start getting the momentum going, to start getting things happening. Right. Business wise, this is the perfect time to start planting those seeds now to reap the harvest next season. Perfect time of the year. Reaching out to everybody in your database, reaching out to everybody that you're Facebook friends with, Instagram friends with, checking in on them, see how they're doing for the holiday. That's it. Planting those small seeds. That way you start watering it more and more, and you're going to start seeing the harvest build up, light up, and it's going to go from there. Okay. Mindset. We have to start building our discipline now. Because again, if you wait to start strengthening your mindset, if you wait to start getting your mindset together for next year, like, okay, beginning of the year, I'm just going to start thinking totally different, you're going to take time to get adjusted to that. So you wait January 1st to start making those changes. It's going to probably take about, depending on your personality type, depending on who you are, it's probably going to take about 30 days for the habit to stick. So now you're 30 days behind the eight ball as opposed to starting now and starting to do things to get your mindset together. Start doing things to get the ball rolling that you're going to have those habits already created in January. And the funny thing that I always like is when people like I'm waiting for the time it's right. I'm ready for the perfect time. We already know perfect timing is a myth. Perfect timing is BS. I'm gonna say this, and people, you're gonna be like, "Oh, not this." If you wait for the perfect time, you're gonna wait forever, right? Y'all know I'm always rattling off some quotes, and it's funny because a lot of the quotes are cliche, but it's so real. If you wait for the perfect time, you're gonna wait forever. Okay, and a lot of times, a lot of the real changes that we make, the real changes that happen, it happens when conditions are not what they're supposed to be. I can pinpoint a lot of times where I had to make changes, and it wasn't because the conditions were good. It was like it was bad conditions. Again, it's a snowstorm going on right now. Conditions are changed. Like, hey, I have to make a change because of the conditions of the road. Okay, I got to drive a different way. I got to do things. Like, there's never going to be a perfect time. Things are always going to change. Conditions are going to get worse. Conditions are going to be good. Yet that's when the real change happen. Is when those conditions are not perfect. And a lot of times people are like, okay, well, I'm going to wait till I get this, or I'm going to wait till this situation happen. No, you just go now. Use what you have now as a starting point. Use what you're doing now, and then you can get the ball rolling, and then you can go there. My favorite, one of my favorite books, and if you haven't read it, get it. If you have read it, read it again. The Compound Effect. And when we think about the compound effect, like let's think about the compound effect of starting early. Every action takes now gives you a head start when the new year begins. Remember, I just talked about that. Every action you take right now is setting you up to have a head start before the new year's begins. So think of it like this: January 1st is the start line of the race. January 1st is the start line. They said, hey, we're going to let you start about 15 meters behind, 15, 30 meters behind. I am not a track guy, so forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, right? But January 1st is the starting line. Where you currently are is 15, 30 meters behind. We're going to let you start running then. And then this person is going to start running January 1st. That person starts running January 1st. You already have that momentum built up because you started running already, that you're going to catch up and you're going to bypass them because you already created that momentum. You already have that consistency. You already have that quote unquote wear and tear on your body is warmed up, it's ready to go. That is like, hey, I'm there, right? Think about when we talk about how a lot of the success is created when you what you don't see, right? The whole analogy of the iceberg is you only see this part of the iceberg, yet if you go underwater, it's this big, massive piece of ice under there. That's the same thing. The success is created in the work people don't see. Talk about sports again. You only see now the way social media is, you can get clips of practice, but majority of the time you only see when they play the game. You don't see those other 5 days where they're putting in work. They're going over the playbook. They're hitting strength and conditioning. They're looking at film. That's when everything is created. The time nobody's looking. So when they get to the game on Thursday or Sunday, they're able to put in that work. Your January momentum is built in December. It's built in November and December. Like that's when it's built. Again, it's that head start. If I started running 100 meters behind you and you started right at January 1st, I've already created that momentum and found my stride that I'm just going to black past you. So I'm going to challenge you all. Again, as I'm getting ready to wrap up, I'm going to challenge you all. Like, what is one thing that you're putting off into next year that you could start today? Literally, as you're listening to this, what is one thing you're putting off into January that you can start today? I want you to, ask yourself this question too, because a lot of things is habit, is condition, and like it's how we were conditioned. Who told you that January 1st was required for you to start something new? Who told you that Mondays is, required for you to start something new? Who told you the first of the month is something like who told you these things, right? And if you start right now, where would you be by this time next year? Think about it. If you started right now, how think about how far along you would be as opposed to you starting next year. And I'll leave you all with this. You do not need more time, you need more intention. You need to be more purposeful. Things are not going to be perfect. The conditions are not going to be perfect. Start messy, start small, start imperfect. The point is just start. Get the ball rolling. Don't wait till next year and then you make new excuses. Oh damn. Well, you know what? I January 1st was on I don't know what day it's on. I think it's a Thursday or Friday. Well, I'm just gonna start fresh February 1st. No, we're done making excuses. We're gonna make commitments. We're going to be committed to what we say we're going to do. We're going to be committed to what we say we want to accomplish. Again, our standards have to be in alignment with our goals. We're not waiting to when the time is right. And I'm doing air quotes for my people that's just listening and not looking on YouTube. We're not waiting for the time to be just right. The time is never going to be right. What they say, when was the best time to plant a tree 50 years ago? When's the next best time right now? Stop making excuses of why you ain't get things going and why you didn't get things started. Because again, we want to be ahead of the curve. We want to be already moving and chucking along before everybody else finally decide they want to get their ass up and get to work. So again, think about what's something you've been putting off into next year and get on it right now. And think about What was it that programmed you to feel like you have to wait till the first day of the month, the first day of the week, the first day of the year to get something new started? Because we know things will never be perfect, conditions will never be perfect. So again, I love you all. This is your boy, Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman. Thanks for checking into another episode of Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast where we help you tap into your full potential. Love you all. See you next week. Peace.